For any of you new that have just followed me recently, I was a primary school teacher, and just want to tell you a bit of my story because it might just help you along the way. Like, sometimes I know it's hard to get out of a draining job, isn't it? It's really tough, and it's hard to think of ideas on what to do. So my story is, I got tired of the weekend working. I got tired of the constant admin. Like, the kids, don't get me wrong, the kids were lovely. I love the kids. I love talking to them. I love teaching them to read. But I just couldn't cope with all the hours, and I was actually falling behind every week. I was actually, the moment I tried to do the job properly how they wanted it, I was wearing myself out, making myself ill. So I knew that something had to change, and that one pivotal moment was when I lost my Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, Jasper. He was just everything to me. He was like a child almost. And I was just sat in the yard in my old house in England, and I was like, what can I do? What can I do to start my exit out of teaching? There must be a way. And I found a blog called Believe in a Budget, and she detailed that she'd actually started, she didn't set out to make any money, but she actually started to make money off her blog quite by accident. And she was detailing her journey without any, any fear of competition or anything. I thought it was really inspiring that she wanted to share what she did. And I discovered it was through recommending things that you love and that have worked for you, but also sharing your journey. So I'd been pretty hot on budgeting and stuff, and done all right with it. Actually, we were doing all right. We were pretty good financially. So I started a finance blog, personal finance. Budgeting is a Challenge was born, and it really didn't make any money until April 2020. I'd done an SEO course by then, so I knew how to get the blog post onto page 1. But I was getting very frustrated because I wasn't making much money, and thinking, gosh, I've got to keep this going because I want to get out to teaching. So I started to prioritise. I didn't work as much on teaching. Tried to think about what tasks needed doing and what tasks were BS, basically. Right, Sasha, come on this way. Oh, sorry, come here. And in April 2020, I created a blog post about a copywriting course that I was taking. I decided to take the plunge because I knew that schools, we would have to work from home, and there was some confusion over what that was going to look like. So it meant that in between planning curriculum for the school, in my working hours, I could work on copywriting, learning how to copyright in the evenings or in the afternoons when I'd finished my contracted hours, which suddenly were a lot less because I was at home and they couldn't give us enough to do. I wrote this blog post recommending it because it was really, really good, and I was learning a lot, putting it into practice. So I believed in this course. Fast forward to 2023, and that blog post on its own has made $39,500. Right? So it was amazingly life-changing. It propelled us to the point where we got out of a house that we didn't like. Well, my husband didn't like it. He didn't like living near the road because he was retired. He had to listen to the road noise all the time. And then it got him, to a place where he was happier again, and I was happier. And we got this new house that's beautiful, and paid all our debts off. And then I started thinking bigger. So I was like, right, I said, I'm ready now to go one day less, which is awesome. It's okay, Sasha. It's okay. So one day less. I started, 2021. I started to go down one day less to 4 days a week. I had a chat with my head teacher at the time, and he was like, why don't you just stay full time? Because we're on lockdown anyway. You'll probably find that your hours aren't massive. So he did me a big favour, actually. So 4 days a week, oh my goodness, the freedom I discovered with that. I did so much. I got a few copywriting projects then. At the time, I was cold pitching. So it just shows, doesn't it? Like, you can change your life. Now, I got really brave because teaching income wasn't too bad on 3 days a week. I asked one colleague that was doing it and it was okay. So me and my husband agreed that we'd do that. And that's when everything started to accelerate. It was the time I got was crazy in comparison to what I had. And it meant then that I got ultra skinny with school. So if you're in a job that's draining, think about what you could prioritise. What needs to go? What really irritates you that you're always saying to your colleagues, do we really need to do that? Does anybody look at it? Right, I didn't do it anymore. And nobody came to find me. Nobody came to tell me off like I thought they would. That's step one. Frees up more of your time. And then the next step is to think about, in terms of your business, what is the thing that's going to bring you most change to your life? So it's getting projects if you're a designer or if you're a copywriter. If you're at the beginning, it's about training. Make sure you've got that knowledge in hand, and then finding people like around your network that you know already to get your first projects off. So all that kind of thing. And then keeping going, honestly, and keep being brave, because the next leap you make, like I leapt from 3 days to no days as a teacher. And okay, I had it, some people might say I had it easy because I was paid, even though I didn't work all July, I was paid through July, I was paid through August, so I had a bit of a buffer. But then it's about really going for it, looking at people who need you, looking at people who align with you, finding that work. So I got some work straight away. I was very, very lucky. And honestly, it's just about being a little bit brave, because we'd always wanted to travel. And even though we got our dream house, we knew that, okay, life's really short. Are we going to sit in the UK with it raining every day, you know, when we're miserable? Because we want to get out and we want to walk our dog, we want to be in the sun. Okay, so then we made this decision, like, well, you know, you could worry about your role going, you could worry about losing your role. It doesn't matter where you are in the globe, does it? That could always happen. So we flipped it round and said, right, okay, we want to create a better life now that I'm free and I don't have to be in any location. We want to create a better life, and it always goes from there. And there's Malta happened. So I hope that's been inspiring for you.